Anfernee Simons was drafted 24th in the 2018 NBA draft, declaring out of high school, and has turned into a very good player, averaging 23 points per game, and might be in All-Star consideration this year. But who were the 23 players drafted above Anfernee Simons, and how did their careers pan out? The 2018 NBA draft was stacked, but I'm not sure many players were better than Anfernee Simons, and the first player that was drafted was DeAndre Ayton. He's been in Phoenix, was drafted first overall, and has a solid career, averaging about 16, 17, and 10. But he seems like he wants out of Phoenix. It made sense at the time to draft Aiden over him, but I'm not sure if DeAndre Aiden was a better pick than Simons. Marvin Bagley was drafted second overall and has not panned out. He's pretty much regressed since his first season and is now on the Detroit Pistons. He's having a bounce back year and kind of revitalizing his career, not shooting more efficiently, but definitely not a better pick than Simons. He has not panned out. The third overall pick was Luka Doncic. I think we know how that turned out. Luka, one of the best players in the game, along with Trae Young at 5. Both of those players, great young guards. Makes sense that they were picked over Anfernee Simons. Before we move on to the rest of the video, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers in the next few months. I don't make money off of this, so that would mean a ton to me if you did subscribe. So thank you very much. Back to the video. Jaren Jackson Jr. is picked at number 4, and he has become one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. Doesn't play much, kind of struggling to get on the court, but when he's on the court, he's been amazing. And he was definitely a better pick than Anfernee Simons, purely because of situations Simons and Morant wouldn't have panned out well together. At 6 and 7 are a couple of young bigs, Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter. I don't think either of them should have been drafted over Simons. Now at the time it made sense, but Bamba and Carter both can shot block, but both maybe haven't panned out to their potential. Bamba looks like he's going to be traded soon. Wendell Carter was already traded to Orlando. So yeah, I think Simons would have been a better pick. Colin Sexton was picked at number 8. He has been traded to the Utah Jazz, and even though he had a really good first few seasons with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he's kind of got worse purely because he just doesn't get as much opportunity. I believe if Sexton had the opportunity, he'd be way better than he is right now. But Colin Sexton drafted 8th overall. Not sure if he's better than Simons. I don't think so. Kevin Knox was drafted 9th overall, and he hasn't done much. He's traded from the Knicks to the Hawks, now on the Pistons. And Simons definitely would have been a better pick. Knox really has just not done much with his career. Mikal Bridges was picked at 10th and is becoming one of the best two-way players in the league, averaging 16 points, not as efficiently this season, though he's shooting about 40% from 3. But he's a great wing defender, was in DPOY consideration last year, could be in the future. So Mikal Bridges has been a really good pick at number 10. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was drafted at 11. I think we know how that worked. He was traded from the Hornets to the Clippers, now on the Thunder. But he's turning into a star. I would argue as a star this year. Will probably be an all-star and could reach superstar status in the next few years, and that's considering him being probably top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if Shai does. He's been absolutely amazing. Drafted at 11. Definitely deserves to be drafted over Anfernee Simons. Sorry I have to interrupt again, but I just released a documentary on the rise and fall of the Houston Rockets, about 18 and a half minutes long. So if you're interested, after this video, go check it out. I spent a lot of time on it, so it would mean so much to me if you checked it out. Now, thank you very much, and back to the video. Miles Bridges was drafted at 12, and though I'm not going to speak on what he has done, he may be out of the league. I'm not sure. So definitely looks like Anfernee Simons was a better pick, considering I'm not sure if we will ever see Miles Bridges suit up in an NBA uniform ever again. Jerome Robinson was drafted at 13, and he has not done pretty much anything in his NBA career. I know we talked about Kevin Knox not having done much, but Jerome Robinson has pretty much done nothing. He hasn't played since 2020-2021. Warriors most recently waived Jerome Robinson in October. That's the latest news I have on him. So it looks like he may be out of the NBA, and it's just been a rough career for Jerome Robinson so far. Michael Porter Jr. was drafted at 14th overall, and he hasn't done a ton, but when healthy, he's been great. He's played 16 games so far this season, averaging 16.4 points, doing it on 47% from the field, though we've seen him average 19 on 54% from the field and 45% from three. So Michael Porter Jr. clearly has the tools to be one of the high efficient scorers in the league, but we haven't seen him be able to consistently put it together. So though he definitely has the tools to become better than Anfernee Simons in the future, right now I would say that Anfernee Simons is the better draft pick than Michael Porter Jr. Troy Brown was drafted at 15th, and he's floated around teams. He's now on his fourth team's Los Angeles Lakers. He's become a player that starts some games while only averaging 6.2 points per game. He hasn't been great, and definitely not a better pick than Simons. Zaire Smith was picked 16th overall, and he's had one of the more interesting stories and scary stories. He had an allergic reaction that was almost deadly. He was left on feeding tubes. He came back, has played 13 games in the NBA, then had some injuries. So a very rough time. Hopefully everything is good. I heard he's trying to get back to the NBA, hoping to maybe play in the G League somewhere. But Zaire Smith seems like, unfortunately, everything has gone wrong for him. Dante DiVincenzo was picked right after Smith, and though he hasn't scored as much as we would hope, he's become a player that can hit threes and kind of taken over that Gary Payton role for the Warriors this season, where he's doing the nitty gritty work. And though he's not doing as well as Payton, DiVincenzo has stepped up and became a player that the Warriors kind of need to play. Lonnie Walker was picked 18th and has quietly become a 15.4 point per game scorer. I don't really see any Lakers fans talking about him, but he's been pretty solid. 39% from 3 on 5 attempts, and he was a double digit scorer before that. So, though he's not the greatest player ever, he has become a very good role player and even legitimate starter on most teams. Red Velvet Kevin Herter was picked 19th, and he's a very solid shooter. 15 point per game scorer, 41% from the three this season. Now on the Kings, his first year on the Kings, and he's been really solid. Josh Okogie was picked 19th, and though he started a majority of his games for the first 3 seasons of his career with the Timberwolves, as they got better, his role decreased. He's now pretty much a bench warmer, playing 10 or so minutes a game for the Phoenix Suns. Grayson Allen was picked 20th, and he's now on his second season with the Milwaukee Bucks, becoming a legitimate role player. 27 minutes per game, 10.7 points, 40% from three. He's become a really good shooter, and he's carved himself out a really solid career, and looks like he could be in the league for a while. Chandler Hutchinson was picked 22nd overall. He's now pretty much playing 0 minutes with the Phoenix Suns. He's played in 6 games, 3.7 minutes per game. He's riding the bench, almost a 14th, 15th man. So yeah, Hutchinson's career has not panned out the way that we hoped. Aaron Holiday was picked 23rd, and he's now on his fourth team in 5 seasons, and third team in the past 2 seasons. Now with the Atlanta Hawks, averaging 5.3 points per game as a bench point guard. Then there's Anfernee Simons. He was picked 24th overall, averaging about 23 points per game this season for the Portland Trail Blazers. Has been very good. He's one of the main reasons they're this good, especially with Damian Lillard missing some time. Though I wouldn't consider him a top 3 player in that draft. It's probably Luka, Trey, and Shea. He's in that second tier. Jaren Jackson Jr., DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges. He's inside of that tier. So a pretty good pick for the Trailblazers. They definitely got it right. I'm not sure if there's a player better than him that was drafted after. Maybe Jalen Brunson. I would consider them the same tier of player. So yeah, Anfernee Simons, really good, drafted 24th overall. And that's what happened to the 23 players drafted before Anfernee Simons. Those were the 23, and that's how their careers have panned out so far.